Straight into it. This is Warriors Anonymous. Welcome back for another week. Who let the dogs out? We let them out of Mount Smart Stadium with 0 points. Yay! My name is Jared Cronin. Welcome along. We are the Four Nobodies talking about the greatest team in all the land, the One New Zealand Warriors. Let's bring in the boys. Start with you, Maneta Sauce, bro. How are you?
Good. That ref sucked.
Yeah,
but we still got the win. We still got the win.
It's funny. There's a lot of comments flying around from both sides, both the Warriors side and the Bulldogs side, about their opinions of certain referee. But also respect the ref, guys. Respect the ref. Keep it clean.
Why?
Also got Sophie Isaac Sauce. Hey, bro.
Oh,
what was that?
What was that?
That was I think that was the missus draining the sink. That wasn't my bowels or anything like that.
Your bowels.
Yeah, that wasn't my gut going. That was the sink. But hey, good to walk away with the win. It was pretty dicey last sort of 10 minutes on the edge of my seat, but you know, not as dicey as maybe other seasons have gone by. I felt like we had a chance to wrap it up, and we did.
Yeah, and really, based on that last 10-15 minutes, couldn't really blame you if your bowels were in a bit of a mess, to be honest.
It was just a reffing cause.
Also got Daniel Whaaaat, hey bro.
Kia ora Tefano, got the dub, 3 and 4. You know, we are sitting at the top. It's a good place to be.
It's quite weird, isn't it? Like, we're sitting in fourth at the moment, and it's just when we first got into the season, you kind of block out 4 game sort of blocks, and I don't think a lot of people expected us to get through the first block of 4 with 3 wins. So awesome stuff, man. It was a triple cheeseburger of footballing action on Sunday just gone. And Buddha, how did you enjoy the feast of football?
Feast, yeah, cheeseburger. Or I was thinking about hot dogs and shakes from back at Wendy's days. When you were talking a bit about kind of a dog's theme. But did the mahi this morning around the house? Firewood and all that kind of manly stuff. Just to feel like not like Craig Fitzgibbon when he smashes it out, but for the Sharks, he thrashes himself out before he coaches the team. Not that way. But watched a bit of the Cup game, New South Wales Cup. Was really impressed with especially some of the big running forwards we have in Cup A. So and he just got ready on the couch with the young fella playing Minecraft. Every time he yelled and jumped out of my seat, he almost freaked out. Just strapped myself in and was fucked off in the first 8-10 minutes, thinking, "Geez," but I knew we'd get them.
Yeah. Isaac, it was another slow start. I mean, we've won 3 out of 4 games, but even more consistently, we've started poorly in 4 out of 4 games. What's the tonic there, bro? What's not working for us at the moment?
I don't know anymore. I said what I said last week, and they didn't do it. So refer back to last week's episode about what they need to do. But I think they were maybe a bit shell shocked. I think maybe they playing at home. Their first game of the season at home proper, on a high from last week. Maybe they underestimated the start that the Bulldogs would have came out with, which is probably not the way you want to play it. And exactly the opposite of what I said last week. But hey, I think probably the bigger thing is they have these rough starts, but they can still bounce back. We're still 3 or 4. We'd make our lives easier if we didn't have these rough starts, but it's nice to know that we can get back into the grind and pull our bootstraps up and just get back into the game and win.
That's right. I mean, the slow starts, it's sort of, the way we play is kind of like Vin Diesel's bloody old, wagon that he drives on Fast and the Furious. Needs quite a bit of work going in the garage and that, but once it gets going, man, it's kind of hard to keep up with. Moneta, like, what did you like about when we got going? Because once we got a roll on, we again proved that we're pretty difficult to contain.
No, it was. You have to give it to Sean Johnson for directing the team today. I thought he was stellar in regards to that, and yes, we had a pretty crap 20, well, not first 10 to 20 minutes, but once we got going, we built momentum, and again, the forwards has played it really simple, and yeah, it's just great to watch. Like I think Sean Johnson's leading the way, and I'm eating my own bloody, yeah. What's the saying? I don't know. But
Words?
Words.
Or something else.
Yeah, or something else, probably. I don't think Sean Johnson would have a good first foot. He's killing it. He looks like the old Sean Johnson. He did that dummy and then pierced the line and voila. And he's doing great. Fantastic. He's got a smile on his face.
That's it. And the thing I like about him, I was probably even more impressed in the first half when he rushed up on the last tackle and he pretty much caught Burton on the last. He was able to get an offload away, but just showed some really awesome hustle that he's got in this game.
Defense is he's doing great.
Yeah, he's going after it. He's like, no, I'm not going to hang back and just manage things. I'm going to go out there and really give it some. So, so that was cool. Also, giving it some Buddha, our hard charging forwards, Jackson Ford, Marata Nukore, Adam Fanor Blake. My goodness, they're looking good.
Yeah, strong, solid. I didn't think we were as imposing as we were obviously last week in the forward pack, but I think, well, and obviously to put it this way, what is pleasing is we didn't have Wade Egan, so I think we lost it. Lost it was great, real brave, real hearty, but I think we lost a little bit of craft around that. So maybe our boys didn't come onto the ball as much as they did last week. But yeah, for me, still had good efforts, and when we lost Tohu as well, I think Ford stepped up even more, and man, he was everywhere. Like I think Richard Ager told us he's one of the fittest blokes in the club, and you can definitely see it. So I was really pleased with the fact that when you take out Wade Egan, Mitch Barnett, Tohu Harris out of your team, we're still able to muscle up, hold our own. So that's pleasing. But I think we lacked a little bit of cohesion compared to the week before when we had those boys in the game.
Yeah, it was even on the injury front as well. Even towards the end, we lost Te Maire Martin. So at that point, you're kind of looking at all the guys who have kind of gone out of the game. You're thinking, who the hell's even playing anywhere at the moment? But Isaac, I guess that's one really awesome aspect that A, we've got the resilience to keep going, but B, we've got some smarts to adjust what we're doing. And we've got guys we can move around the board as well to go in different spots and still be successful.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good lineup week in and week out with the selection that they have. I think before the season, if we saw a bench of Dylan Walker, Jazz Tavanga, Tom Ale, and Bailey Sirinen, we'd be scratching our heads about what's going on. But when you see them play the way they are, it sort of makes sense with what they're trying to achieve. So, when they do have those injuries, they've got the other chess pieces they can move into different positions to fill those gaps. And I don't really feel like we're losing too much. When the bench players start to come on, we just get a different sort of game style. It's no better than no bet. Oops, sorry.
Sorry, I was jumping in. Funny you say that because at that slow start, I was kind of waiting. I was like, fuck it, can we interchange the guys? I know we don't interchange straight away, but I think because we looked so good with having Dylan Walker and Tavanga and Jazz out there. And I think we obviously struggled a little bit at the start. They got behind and we couldn't get the game going. So I was thinking, you don't want to bring them on too early because obviously there's a game plan. They've got to come into the, after 20 minutes. But I was like, shit, once we get these guys back in, then we can start playing some football because we looked a bit, caught short at the start. And I think that try they scored against us showed, Bunty and Vailea got caught out on the side as well, and more mobility from the Jazzes and the Dills.
I was thinking that too. I was thinking like maybe they should interchange them a little bit earlier just to get a bit of a reset or just a jump start on their game plan almost, because they were a bit shell shocked in the first 10 to 15 minutes, and I thought, as strange as it sounds, if they could just change one or two players out and just see how it works and just maybe get a reset on things, which kind of happened anyway. By the time they got on the field, you could see the Bulldogs forwards were getting a bit tired and Dylan Walker and Jazz Tavanga were kind of running amok and just causing some headaches. But that's a luxury, We get to play a different style of play with instead of the big boppers. It's a completely different style, but it's just as effective.
Small ball. It's funny with
Small balls. Sorry.
I was going to ask this next question of Moneta, but I need to ask it from you, Isaac, because you got the matching hairstyle.
The balls. That's not fair.
The Bushwhackers, Jazz and Dylan, man. Like, what I love about Dylan is he comes on. I know he made a couple of mistakes today, sure, but he really just came and brought A, some juice, and B, some sort of direction as well. A lot of the plays that he was involved in the attacking line seemed to flow a lot better. That's what I thought anyway. What did you think of that?
Is it 20 years, the anniversary of the Hair Bears for Penrith? The 2003 team, Pulatua and Whaaaat? Is that right? When they won the grand final there. So it's 20 years, trends change. Now it's about the Bald brothers. So yeah, just a different style of play. I just don't think teams are used to it, seeing two small forwards that are just mobile and ball players, or can sort of, just get the meters. They've just got a good mix between the two of them. It's bad enough with one, but when you put both of them together on the field, there's a threat of a ball play, or there's a threat of a good hit up or a spin. They've just got a really big skill set, to both of them. So both of them together is quite threatening for a lot of teams, because I just don't think they're used to seeing it. They're just like, well, how do we defend this?
Yeah.
They also bring some mongrel as well,
Yeah.
Just energy. Just a different sort of energy. It used to be just Jazz Tauranga leading the lineup and defense. Now you've kind of got the both of them. I kind of feel like they're feeding off each other, and they're just buying into the Bald Brothers brand. Really? How's that alliteration?
They come in like in the middle rounds with the chair.
Yeah.
Moneta, our back three. I'll ask you, our resident speed man. Our back three is doing a really solid job for us at the moment. We're covering our high kicks. We're tracking back. We're making good yards on our, to start our sets off. How are you seeing the work that those guys are doing?
Oh, great. I mean, Montoya, still remember back when I first saw him, I thought he was crap. And now he is stellar. He is like dependable, strong wing. He makes the meters. And Kossi, he's like proving game by game. He's like solid. And he got a lot of high balls today, and he caught them all. So like kudos to him.
Didn't break a sweat.
It was like Matt Burton kicked them, and we know how high he can kick those balls. And he caught them all. So, and CNK, he kind of proved himself then, like why he's back in the starting squad. He's always there for support play. He's making those little meters up the middle, with Sean Johnson. So, yeah, and what can you say? I mean, like, it's going to be hard I reckon even for DWZ to come back in. I mean, like, the way Cossie's playing. Like,
is he automatic pick when he comes back?
I don't know. Like, it's even Josh Curran. Like, he's not even in the starting squad anymore. Like, it's that you go back to the ditch now. It's like, shit. We've actually got
competition.
And they've been talking about the whole competition, and now it's like, would you want Kossi out or not? And even in the centres, you've got competition, so it's great. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to say something that I never actually thought I would say at the start of the year. Ed Kossi was one of my favourite players out there. I thought he was largely outstanding. Apart from the defensive glitch in the second half where he let Fox get around him. Other than that, man, he was making some.
Is that a glitch? Sorry, bro. Is that a glitch or just how I think we're talking about before this? There's just mismatches. When you've got super great game-breaking players where, I don't know, if you stand right on them, then you've got a hole in the inside. I mean, it was a great play, but I guess that's the only thing, when you play a team like the Bulldogs with like burdens like that, as well as Gato Carr. I don't think any winger would have stopped that. It was lightning. And I think we'd also dropped our bundle from the fucking strip that we didn't get the try on.
That was immediately after that play. Yeah. They scored that try. Yeah. So they probably would have had that in the back of the brain, and then Kossi just got burnt. But he won't let that happen again. Like,
anyway,
shame on me.
What are you saying?
He's got to set that edge, just throw him out. But yeah, I was thinking if the roles were reversed and, the Warriors were playing away at Belmore and the, Bulldogs had tried disallowed and then we'd run off and scored, I reckon they would have been like throwing cans onto the field. Like they would have been pretty unhappy. And I know the Mount Smart crowd were less than impressed. But that's a good segue as we analyse the performance of the NRL referee we had today. Moneta, you have some strong thoughts. We'll go around all of us as well. What irked you the most?
I think it was the inconsistency of some of the calls around stripping and handling of the player's arm, like the one with Sean Johnson. Okay, he did play like little magic fingers on the guy's hands. But if you're going to use the same rule in regards to when Pompey and when I can't
Kick out,
he was stripping obviously his arm out to kind of get the ball, and I thought that was even, I don't know, it was a bit. And then there's some 6 against I thought would have been quite good to call. I can't remember who got held down. I think it was Pompey down at their end. And it was like, he got held down to us, and then people were like, oh, what? Isn't that 6 again? Or in the forward part. There was just so many of them that were just like, what the hell? But again, it shows resilience, and we actually won. The old Warriors, I would dare say, wouldn't be able to go through that kind of calls and make it through the end.
Yeah, we would have definitely chucked in the towel at some point. And it is funny now that, now we watch the games and the referees do what they do. But sort of in the back of my mind, I'm actually thinking back to Richard Agar and what he said, just about, that we just got to overcome it. I know that it seemed like for a while, a lot of the game, every 50-50 call was going against us. And yet we were still able to just persevere, just hang in there, and come away with the result. But I was blowing up the Lux in the first half.
Yeah, I was
when Kossi did his intercept, and then old Burton tracked across, tackled him, and then as Kossi was trying to get up and do a quick play of the ball, then Burton put him down again.
And just dry hummed the shit out of him, eh? Just like, get off him.
That's 10. I was blowing up, and then we went further up the field, and he did a massive escort on their high kick catch.
On Pompey? Was that Pompey?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
And the ref just you could see the ref just go point to Pompey and just tell him to go back into the line. I was like, what the fuck?
That was what Ashley was referring to. It was actually Kossi. Yeah, that was that. I was blowing up too. That one was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like what are we watching?
Penalty in a bin. Like it happens every time that happens in other games. Slows down the play after a break. That's professional foul. Go. It happened last year. We got killed on that last year by Teddy did that to us. In the Roosters game where we competed well, but the same thing, protected species. There's key players holding people down. But to your point about the 50-50s, I think previous years we've been a team that have needed our fair share of 50-50s, if not 60-40s, to be able to compete in the game.
Yes.
But we've just proven that we could get 30-70 in the calls and still get it 2-point win. So I think back in the day we always used to say we had to win by 8 points as well. So I think that's the difference. We've got a much more resilient crew out there that don't completely drop their bundle.
And the Bulldogs are a good team. They've been playing quite well this year. So that's what makes me like, wow, the first 4 games, and even against the Roosters, I don't think we played bad at all. I think we got a bit tired at the end, but yeah, it's great. It's great starts to the season.
Yeah. And the fitness is pretty clear with the team now too. The commentators were saying a lot about that, like the fitness, all the talk about this was the fittest year ever, blah, blah, blah. But I honestly think that this year is the fittest I've ever seen the Warriors. Yeah. It's a clear, you can see it on the field. It's very clear how fit the whole team is across the board.
Forward tackle, Matt King. That was a classic tackle. I mean, this just shows his fitness.
Yeah, we love Jackson Ford. Yeah. He's fucking good.
Bit of Jackson action. Now, Isaac, you've paid close attention to the Penrith influence. So obviously our coach, Andrew Webster, came from there. as did Serraldo from the doggies.
Ronaldo, Montoya.
What did you see in terms of how, like, sort of looking at a bigger picture, I suppose, in terms of how both teams went about their business today?
I think it's just getting into the grind. I think me and Buddha were just talking about it off air. Teams that sort of play that style and teams that don't, they just come from the Penrith school of staying in the grind, kick long, take some pressure off your forwards by getting your back five to cart it up strong, which they did really well, the Bulldogs. Like, all their back five was involved with cutting the ball up. I mean, yeah, shout out to Hayes Perham. I thought he had a good game. He was threatening with the ball. And Karaz was a constant threat. I was saying offline that he reminds me of Brian Totter, the way they use him. They just get him involved. He hunts for the ball. So the forwards don't have to do too much. I think there might have been a number of sets where none of the Bulldogs forwards touched the ball, but they still managed to cart it up 50 or 60 metres. So I think that's the Penrith influence right there. But when you see on the Warriors side of things as well, the Penrith style is just to get in the grind and not let the game get too far away. And at some point in time, they'll strike. They're not trying to score off every play. They're just trying to stay in the game and wait for the opportunity, which, funnily enough, was Sean Johnson throwing the dummy after all game, digging into the line and throwing the out the back pass. He did that the whole game, and the one time he dummies, he scores.
He picked his moment perfectly.
Yeah.
Well, actually, did he pick his moment perfectly? Because I don't know about you boys, but I thought we were about to get that try taken off us.
I didn't think
Really?
Yeah.
Fanua Blake goes through the line, and then obviously Reid Marnie runs into Fanua Blake as well. But then, to be fair, there wasn't any crossing, was there? There wasn't any shape behind. There wasn't a lead runner.
Yeah.
But I just thought, fucking Warriors of old.
Yeah.
They're going to call this up again. Because it also looks spectacular, because AFB just fucking runs straight. He just keeps running, and Marnie comes into him and...
Yeah, but wasn't Faisal Mariner on the inside of Marnie as well? And he just completely lost sight of Johnson, basically. He bought the dummy, basically, and he was just like, he's gone already.
Did he buy the dummy, or is he maybe a sleeper cell over in Canterbury? Maybe.
He was, yeah. He's an ex-Warrior, eh?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Not the way he was playing. He was pretty good that game, too. He was pretty threatening. Yeah, Faisal Mariner.
Yeah. No, he's doing well. I thought that young second rower of theirs looked pretty good too.
Jacob Preston, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, John Preston?
John Preston.
He's like a centre as well. Did he play centre debut a couple of weeks ago?
Alamotti or?
Oh, he's
Paul Alamotti. Yeah. He's the other centre. He's big for a 19-year-old. Jeez.
Oh my God. Yeah, I watch him and, he's 19 and I'm looking at him, I'm thinking, he looks like Willie Talal when he was like 29. Holy moly. That's a man child right there. Oh boy. I don't know. What else do we want to talk about? There's a whole bunch we can go through from this.
There's
game.
a whole bunch.
Can I talk about SJ for a little bit?
Yeah. Well, let's talk spine.
Yeah.
SJ. I thought SJ was amazing, but I also thought Tamaiti was classy today. Just the touches, the defense, aggression defense, the cleanups he did as well.
Yep.
He just seems to be level-headed, calm, cool, collected. Doesn't overplay his hand. SJ gets caught on the fourth or the fifth as well, and then he takes over the kicking duties. They're just a good little foil with each other as well.
Yeah.
And then I love Chance's stepping up at probably about 60 minutes where everyone was blowing ass, and Chance seemed to have a 5-10 minute period where he was just running off the back of Freddie Lussick. It was, just getting meters and offloads. It was, great performance. And
he's just always there, Chance? And that's why, I really love that effort that he's always in that middle area waiting for a ball to just, pop up.
Yeah.
But I agree with you on the Tamaiti Martin front. I was actually a huge fan of a lot of what he's done over the first 3 games as well, even against the Cowboys on the carved. But he's very switched on. He's a switched on customer. A little bit cheeky at times, which I like. And he's, I don't know, he he's able to read a lot of the plays. There was a play there where he actually cleaned up a grubber kick of theirs in our own in goal.
Yeah.
And you could see him tracking across, and he knew exactly what they were going to do. So he kind of, he looks a bit like Ralph Macchio, but he's a pretty wise old head already, to Mighty. Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I like what those two do. And I also thought the best two attacking kicks of the game, like when we were trying to score points, they both came from him.
Yes, yeah.
He did the little grubber kick, and he also did the high kick over to Edo Carr, which he nearly gave bloody old Jackson Ford a try assist, but just couldn't quite grab it.
Oh, yeah. That.
Yeah. Luckily that's a forward pass, but
just straight through, so don't slip.
Yeah.
We've got to give a shout out.
He was like, huh?
We've got to give a shout out to our boy from the podcast, Freddie. Our man Freddie. I thought he had a strong game. No disrespect, but obviously we do lose a little bit with Wade out as well, but having Freddie in there, he's just commitment, man. Like we obviously had the pound for pound chat with him, and like he definitely showed that. I mean, he was wrapping up Kikau, around the legs a few times. He was, it was just solid. Although he tried a 40-20 from dummy half and kicked it into the middle of the field, so it didn't quite. Hey, we saw Reid Marnie do one, so he'll do one.
Yeah, that's right. I did like when he got going. He sort of warmed into the game, didn't he, Freddie?
Yeah.
He started to get a little bit more out of the pocket in that sort of third quarter of the game. And that made a difference, that all of a sudden the defence were having to key on him a bit more, and it sort of freed up things a bit more.
Yeah.
But I think we struggled at the start without Wade, not because Wade tends to play, comes out a step, holds the line,
Yep.
And it just gives our forwards running onto the ball just that little bit of extra indecision in the line, just a little bit of not like a half shoulder, you know what I mean? Like you can just bring them onto the ball. So I think Freddie, by not doing it at the start in the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I feel we didn't have as much kind of forward momentum that we did previously, and obviously back into the game.
Yeah. Do you reckon Freddie could have run a bit more than Manera? There was times when I thought, I could have a go here. And then he didn't. I was like, come on. Just like Wade Egan would probably see an opportunity like that and then give it a go.
Yeah, I thought so. I mean, but he still played well, like he didn't make any mistakes really. And he's not Egan, but like it goes back to the we've got people we can trust now when someone's down, and he played the role well.
100%. Yeah.
So he could have done what Egan's done, but he did the job. So good on him. So yeah,
it's great to just have someone again who can just slot in, do a job, and just we don't really, we don't lose too much. We don't all of a sudden become a different team because of it. So that's pleasing. Moneta, what do you think Andrew Webster would have said to the boys, after the game?
This is Webermania.
Oh,
Webermania!
First would have gone, oh yeah, I'll see 316.
Yeah.
But he would have said, like, I reckon he would have mentioned about the resilience, great defense and stuff like that. But again, I think they'll be looking to rectify the first 20 minutes somehow. He also probably mentioned about there's still a lot to do in regards to how they start a game, because that just seems to be one of our few Achilles heels at the moment in regards to just how we start. It's just some penalties, and how do we not let those penalties kind of give the other opponent momentum. So I think there's a lot of things they can improve on, which is a good thing, right? So it's a good thing for the upcoming games, because we haven't reached our peak, and we're still winning games. So that's there's a lot of good things we can work on.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of things to work on, some of the commentators have a few player names that they can work on, including the guy who we played against last week for the Cowboys. And the commentators are currently calling him Jeremiah Nene.
So you're Nene.
Nene. So yeah, unfortunately, that's not quite right.
Shanae.
I actually think they were. I feel like they've made a change, and now they're actually saying it worse than they were before. So,
Before, yeah, Nene.
Nene. So yeah, less of the Nene. It's more of like a nanai.
Nanai.
Yeah. So like nan
No.
I.
Nanai.
Nanai. That's how you remember it. Jeremiah nanai.
No.
Nene.
No.
I say nay.
I
They said that last
Shanae.
week. They said Nene, yeah, and I thought they were talking about that guy Nene McDonald. I was like, hey, he's not. Oh, he was like a Dragons player, wasn't he? I didn't know.
Titans, Dragons, yeah. They went too far the other way with the name, eh? Went Nanai and then Nene. And it's like they haven't found that sweet spot, as in saying his name right, full stop. But
They're like, watch me whip, watch me nay nay.
What's he doing?
That's what I was thinking of it.
Poor old Jeremiah. He's going to the judiciary as well. We have a little bit of a chat about the judiciary in a couple of moments. But before we actually, just a quick coverage on also the other games that happened as part of the triple cheeseburger of footy at Mount Smart. Unfortunately, the SG Ball team were defeated. They've had a bit of a slide in recent weeks. They started great guns, but the last few weeks have been a bit dire for them. So, something's sort of just gone a bit astray with those lads, unfortunately. So I think they're probably, I say they're out of contention now. They've still got a game in hand in terms of to catch up, the one that was postponed, but I think they might be a little bit too far back to make a semi-final spot. So, but on the upside, Daniel, you mentioned that our New South Wales Cup team had a good win. And that was actually pretty impressive as well, because those Bulldogs had come in on a 3-match winning streak and they were on top of the table. So a couple of good young players in there as well who actually showed a bit of promise, as well as the Warriors guys as well, I thought. So really, really good win for those guys. Moneta, you were going to be jumping into the Greg Spence realm this week.
Here we go.
And sharing this week's expense account as we do a little bit of an audit. Ching, 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 ching.
So, Charles, Nicole Clark.
Charles.
It's Nene. Shanae. CNK, I'll just say that, is unbeaten in all 5 of his NRL matches at Mount Smart Stadium. So, there you go. Marata New. I've got to get my pronunciation correct. How do I say it? His last name properly? G? Nukore has now chalked up 100 NRL games. So Marata Nukore has now, so he's well done. He started 44 times in the second row and has scored just twice. Despite his lack of tries, his team has been victorious in 10 of his last 1 starts in this position. Please update this to include Bulldogs. Whoops, sorry, that's straight off the bat.
That might have been 10 of the last 11.
Is that of the last one?
That's not perfect. That's just
10 wins out of his last 11 starts at that position. That's pretty good.
That's 1,000%.
mental math now. Looking ahead to round 5, the Sharks have won 10 out of their last 12 games against the Warriors, and historically have won 74% of the games between the two teams in matches. Craig played at points bets.
And Nico's back too.
Slicko.
Yeah, that ends the expense account on a sour note. So, yeah.
Gotching.
Can I just say, that game last year against the Sharks, I don't want to be a downer, was the fucking worst game I think the Warriors have ever played in the history of fucking
That was the
Warriors.
worst.
Was that the 13 versus 1 game, basically?
Yes.
Nico Hines?
It was, they were down to 11 men and they stripped us out wide.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was
Repeatedly, side to side.
That was the time when I questioned my Warriors kind of dedication.
It was on the line, you know.
Yeah. Do you think Webermania will have that game on repeat saying, this is not what happens, this is not what happens, watch this, never again?
That was Nathan Brown's final nail in his head coach. Popping
I remember that.
After that, I just think he went fuck.
I remember that, after the post conference, he was just like, I give up. Just had that look of like, I don't know anymore.
He was gone.
I have no answers for you. It's-
Yeah, he's like the newsreader on The Simpsons when they keep showing the footage of the little lamb drinking milk. He's like, "That's it, I'm out of here.
That's it. I'm out of here.
I don't care. Get a week and go to do it." Anyways, now Buddha, we've got a lot to cover because there's been quite a few goings on around the league. So, bro, have you got us a delicious NRL wrap?
NRL wrap. We'll start off with
No calorie.
just saying that there was zero mention of the Warriors on NRL 360 last week.
I know.
Yes,
I know.
that's good. That's good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why?
Just let them sleep on us. Just
I
let
couldn't
them
believe they
not
didn't
worry
mention
about
anything,
us.
though. Nothing.
No, yeah.
Nah.
They mentioned how bad the Cowboys were, but
Yeah.
you know, something's
Good
going
on
wrong
Paul
up there.
There's been a bunch of people around SEN have been like saying to me, "Hey, Warriors are going good," and I'm like, "Nothing to see here. Just move along."
My team is the.
Cheers, you got this. And you touch him on the lips and go,
Yeah.
no, don't say it.
Yeah, that's it. So yes, now, oh my gosh, like Kafusi suspension chaos. Kafusi, like we all sit here, right, and agree that the Swahili tackle was a worse tackle than the Kafusi tackle, yet they were graded differently. And so, and I guess the perfect thing for them, right, was to have the tackle from the week before show grade 1, got a fine, and then his tackle, you know, was grade 2 and 3 weeks, and then he fought the charge and got an extra week. It was, I mean, I think every single person that is in around rugby league, you know, from the pundits to just us battlers, could clearly see that the Chance one he got whiplash, like he got hit in the back of the back, snapped his neck back, which I reckon contributes to him getting HIA'd about 10, 20 minutes later, because you know that concussion stuff kind of, you know, it sits with you for a little bit, and then you get another dink as well. But anyway, the game was that's fucking mad, eh? Everyone was blowing up Deluxe.
Yeah, I thought they had a pretty airtight sort of defense, because when they showed the footage side by side, and both, you know, playmakers passed the ball at the same moment, and then boom, Galfusi, you know, hit Hastings, and then boom,
Yeah.
I was like, fucking hell, was like so much, you know. I thought there was so much scope there to just go, guys, what are we doing here? But yeah. As it turned out, they probably should have given him the suspension anyway. Swahili.
Everything a rooster's protected species as well. And while we're talking about Swahili, he is off to rugby New South Wales Waratahs in 2025.
Moneta.
Manura's moving for 1.6 mil though. So,
I need that money. Jeez, wish I had that.
yeah.
So obviously talked about, he's obviously quite a bit of a specimen, Sonny Bill-esque, I guess. So as Sonny Bill did, stacked his career, did lots of amazing shit. The worst thing Sonny Bill did was had that fight against Francois Botha, and then we scheduled 12 rounds and he was getting knocked out, so they scheduled it for 9 rounds on the fly. Anyway,
Is that what they did?
the biggest fast ever. But
It's like calling a game off at 60 minutes, just like, let's just
anyway,
Bulldogs win.
and let's go to the playoffs to the NRL like after 4 rounds, shall we?
oh, sweet, we'll do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously he's off to Lee to rugby. He'll probably come back. But I guess there was someone I was listening the other day, well today, around Triple E, and they were talking about the back line they'll have. They're getting Dom Young as well. They've got like Teddy. They'll have Dom Young next year. They've got Tupou. They've got Swali'i. They've got Joey Manu. They've got Luke Keary. They've got Sam Walker. Like, fucking hell. How do you
not
feel
bad.
with this?
Yeah.
That's the Roosters. So but it was a interesting call when he didn't obviously get any punishments. But moving along to the football side of things, what a ding dong battle the Para Panthers game was.
Yeah.
There was a great grand final rematch
Yep.
as well. How did we see that, boys? Who saw that one?
Great game. Just a great game. Like, Penrith never seemed out of it, as well as Parramatta were playing. But Penrith just do Penrith things, just like Nathan Cleary. He does Nathan Cleary things, like bombing out that droppy. Like, he's doing it in the park footy or something like that, just for shits and giggles.
Incredible, eh? Like, it was like, far out. If ever there's any sort of debate about how good he is or whatever, you just put that video on and go, yeah.
Yeah.
That. I'm not even going to say anything. I'm just going to show you that and then walk away.
Well, big ups to Para, though, eh? Big ups to Para and Mitch Moses.
They needed that. They really needed that.
Yeah, they were 0-3, 0-3. So, but Mitch Moses signed his big deal to stay at Para as well. So, just goes to show, and I think Phil Gould always says this, that's why they get paid the big bucks.
Yes. Yep.
And it kind of makes me think, why the fuck do the Dogs continue to persevere with Flanagan as their 7? Because did you see Montoya actually bump the shit out of him?
Yeah.
Anyway, Barra get the job done. Dolphins Broncos 50,000. 50,000 at Suncorp. That's
going to be a good game the next time round too.
Yeah, next time round will be just that much bigger after what's happened in, part 1.
Yeah. That was gripping, eh, that fight, man.
Yeah.
It was just, everything was happening. Guys were getting bloodied. Incredible plays all over the place. It was like, oh, mate.
I thought the Bronx were just, in that first half, were just going to run away with it. But no, the Finns, they hung tough. Big shout out.
Never sleep on Wayne, bro. Never sleep on Uncle Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And big shout out to ex-Warrior Sean O'Sullivan. Obviously now he's got a bit of a pec injury as well, but he's hearty, eh? He's bloody hearty. But I was a little bit disappointed, but they got the W. They got the dub. So, and Reece Walsh, he's probably the number 1 tackling player in the comp, boys. How do we see that?
He's killing.
Yes.
It hurts to see, to be honest. Yeah.
However, go ahead, Manila.
Oh no, he's just killing it. That's all I'm saying. But yeah.
I mean, he's killing it, but he almost cost them the game in the end.
Yeah.
He made a couple of real clanging errors defensively towards the end of that game, and I thought, ooh, this giving me some sort of flashbacks. There was that sort of kick through, the grubber kick try. There was no fullback in sight, They just put the grubber kick through, and it was just clear air try. And then he lost the ball, and if it wasn't for that, because Tony Stagg's piece of incredible brilliance, far out. It could have been a different story, but I mean that's I just want to balance it up in terms of, obviously Reece is on attack, he's looking great, but there's a bit more to his position than just that,
Yeah, than just that.
Yeah. No,
So,
Yeah. We talked about this beforehand, but actually I heard Matty Johns on the Running It Straight podcast with the boys, with Kempy and Sam Hewitt. And Matty Johns was saying he loves, obviously, what the Broncos are doing, but he doesn't quite trust them yet. Like, they get into a arm wrestle, into a real grind, how they react. If they have a segment in the season that doesn't go to plan, lose a few games, how they're going to respond. And I don't know. I'm not sure if they're going to be a team that gets in the grind, but they just got athletes everywhere, including, fan favorite here, the Filipino Voltron. I mean, he now has a detachable hand that's offloading. It's not fair.
Yeah, he's offloading with the red tiger. Just he's got that in his game now. I'm like, oh no, here we go.
He's leveled up, eh?
Yeah, Filipino Voltron.
But for anyone who's just tuning in for the first time, that is Payne Haas, aka the Filipino Voltron because well, he's of Filipino descent, so
And
and he
about
looks
5.
like Voltron.
So yeah, they look really good, Bronx. Moving along, there's quite a few tight games. I watched a little bit of Manly and South, and I don't believe the hype on Manly saying that, but fucking they always get us. So hopefully we can smash them. But first time for a long time I've seen Carl Lawton play, and I haven't gone, oh, Lawton, I miss you, because I feel good about where we are with our hooking and our small forward options.
You've healed.
I have healed as well.
Breakups are hard to do.
That's good.
Yeah, breakups are hard. But yeah, look, good battle. I don't know how Cody Walker scored that try. I don't know if you saw that. He wrapped his arm around Cherry Evans and scored it, I think, like half a blade of grass. So fantastic effort. And the bunnies, man, you know what they're going to throw at you. You know what's going to happen. You can't stop it.
Yeah.
But there was a good affair. And then obviously just before we came to air, I believe we had a great win for the Newcastle Knights, actually.
Yeah, Knights over the Raiders. Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Surprised. Cool. Jed was surprised as well.
24-14 to the Knights.
Oh, good. Anytime Ricky Stewart blows up is great. Yeah.
The newest signing, Greg Marzu, the battle tank. M1 Abrams got 2 tries for them as their new recruit, so he's done pretty well.
Nice. Yeah, they were struggling at before half time, and then they came out in half time and they put a 3-try blitz on there as well. There was, I think, a sim binning, Jack White and high shot on the kicker as well. Hudson Young, I think he is the grubbiest scrub of the grubs at the moment.
Grub King.
And old Big Red, the old Big Red.
Big Red.
We got Rossi Hunt all fired up. We got him binned last week as well.
Yeah.
All right. So
You called him a weak-gutted dog. Oh.
But the pleasing thing I love about the weekend so far is teams that have struggled have won as well. So what it does, it just gets everyone on that little even footing, 2 and 4 points here. There's not like a cluster like us that we've just won 3 and 4. So, like, it's nice when, teams are just limping along and we can stack a few more wins. So, pretty good round for us in the end.
Just a quick congratulations as well to my workmate Viv. She's a Newcastle Knights fan, so her partner Andy, Warriors fan, he listens to the podcast. So Andy, pass on our congrats to Viv. It's been tough times, but yeah, well done.
Yeah, and also further tough times. I think Kurt Mann got knocked the fuck out today.
Oh no,
sickening. Yeah, ran into a Joey Tarpanese hip. He
can't catch a break, that guy. He's always injured.
Yeah, and then hit again, and he was just on the ground before they pulled his mouth guard out. So yeah, sorry. And obviously KP's still out.
Yeah, and in other news as well, the Tigers still suck. So
what about how bad the Tigers were?
No, the Tigers, they still suck.
but they built a centre of excellence in the off season, so.
Have they actually opened the doors, or are they just bolted shut? Are the doors are actually working?
Is it like the one in Zoolander?
Is it like on Zoolander? The center of excellence is like this big. How can our players even fit?
Oh, they are bad, eh? And
I picked it like at preseason that I thought they'd be a bit of a smoky with their forward pack. Wrong.
Gotta feel
Isn't there drama with Benji and Tim Sheens? Bit of drama.
If there wasn't before, there would be now.
Yeah, I heard there's a bit of.
I'd like to see a guy like Luke Brooks go to somewhere like the Bunnies or something.
just gotta
I reckon he could be awesome, but he's just stuck in Tiger Town and in the centre of
He
excellence.
doesn't help himself out though. Like the amount of times he gets tackled on the fifth play, the amount of times he gets tackled on the fifth play. Like, surely you practice a week. I know it's easier to sit here and say that, but anyway, it must be frustrating.
He needs to do a Matt Stafford and go from the Lions to the Rams. You know what I mean? Like, consistently a cellar dweller and then move to a team that's like got half a chance where he can shine. Because, credit to him for staying at the Tigers. Have you seen the video of him ringing up club members and thanking them for their support? And then he gets reamed over the fucking coals. Oh, that shit's cold-blooded.
I thought it was edited.
Nah.
Is it for real?
Was it?
Yeah.
And
It's for real.
I think it's edited.
Is it?
It was well done.
Blowing up the
Oh,
done.
I thought that was so brutal. I didn't realize it was edited, but it was so believable. I was like, yeah, it sounds about right.
Yeah.
Edited. Yeah.
Oh, whoever edited that is an absolute genius.
I love how the guy's like, oh, to be honest, the last 10 bloody years have been the worst of my life. He's like, oh, sorry about that.
So good. But that's the Tigers for you.
Just good to see Ali Katoa. He's playing well for the Storm, but I think, I think he's still learning his craft. And Geordie Barrett sniffing around the old Storm, eh?
Yeah.
Obviously, just there on a bit of a break as well. So a bit of a mid-season freshen up for the AB players. There are actually a couple of All Blacks sitting in the stands at Mount Smart as well. Dane Cole.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Dane Coles.
And Sam Cane. So
Yeah, right.
everyone's Warriors fans, eh?
It's funny with Geordie gone to, looking around at the Storm and that. I actually think he'd probably be quite well suited to AFL.
Yeah,
His bloody massive boot and,
Height.
what do they call him? The udon noodle build.
The udon. Delicious.
Well, yeah, have a good udon. Boys, we're heading to play the old Sharkity Sharks over in Shark Park. A little bit of a hunting ground. What are we looking like injuries-wise? Well, I'm thinking we get a couple of guys back. Is that right?
Egan,
We
and Barnett.
should have,
Should
eh? Yeah, we should have the May man.
Okay.
But
Yeah, but there's... I suppose there's Marata Nukore. I don't actually know... What did he do?
well, he went
was
off for
he-
HIA. He had
But I always thought he got like a rib thing as well when he
Yeah.
went steaming into like a head up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it took him off for the wrong thing. But it was kind of lucky because it was right by half time. So I was like,
yes, perfect time.
can we count the 11 minutes of half time with it?
Yeah. But Tohu's got a bit of a knee niggle as well, right, from that game because he didn't finish it up. But any news about that?
Haven't heard anything.
No.
Yeah.
I watched a little replay of it, and he just kind of got sort of twisted, looked like I kind of rolled on him a bit.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even sure if it was knee or ankle, but
Yeah.
then I watched him a little bit after that play, and he was just kind of just hopping around. But I've got to say, one thing I've been saying all season about Tohu, as great as he's been and workload, blah, 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 inspirational, man, we got to just manage his, workload a bit better.
Yeah.
Because we're going to leave him open to, to bad injuries if we don't do that. Because I feel like we've got guys now that we can actually, utilize in different places, including his. So I just gotta, I just want us to kind of be a little bit more mindful of that. He doesn't have to carry the whole team anymore.
Yeah, wean ourselves off Tohu, the reliance on Tohu.
Yeah.
Yeah. Webby said in the presser that, couldn't obviously return, obviously knee related, but Tohu's so used to it, he could diagnose kind of what was going on. So they obviously get a scan. But I wouldn't be surprised if that may keep him out this week, unless it's obviously more serious than just a 1 weeker as well. But maybe, to your point, manager's load. The other thing is Tamairi went off with a HIA, so if it's depending on the category, but he seemed to be working. He's apparently out post the game. He seemed to be okay. But if it's one of those category 2s, is it, where they just take you straight off and you
11 days stand down.
yeah, it's not like he got smoked or
Nah, I don't think so.
So you wouldn't expect that, but yeah, that would be the only things really. But there might be So Wade and Barnett should be back, and then obviously the decision is if Williami's back as well. What you do there too. So there's selection headaches a little bit.
Yeah, we quickly forget, don't we? Braden Williami played really well early doors. And now, a couple of weeks down the track, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So let's, I guess maybe, should we think worst case scenario? So Tohu and Te Maire are both out next week. Who do we have at 6 and 13?
Well, we're not going to have Manera because he's out too.
Mr. Simpson.
Mr.
Simpson.
I've lost my train of thought now. We have no Tohu who goes to 13.
Yeah, no
Barnett
6 and
goes
no
to 13?
13. What do we do?
Maybe
Yeah.
Barney goes to 13 to start with.
I like Barnett at 13.
Because he's a 13. Well, he was a 13 for the Knights, but he's not a ball playing 13. Is he?
Nah, he's just a middle forward. He says.
The rugged as guts.
But then Dills comes on and plays that line. So yeah, Barnett goes to 13. 6 is a big call, yeah. So is it Ronald Volkman comes in because he's been playing okay. He actually ran quite well at Cafe.
Yep. Thought he was close to the best player today. His kicking game was just changing everything. 40-20s, did a drop out restart and got into touch, just pinpoint kicks and goal kicks as well. And I was like, wow, this guy's playing really, really well.
But the problem with that
go
though
ahead.
is it's kind of him. He's a halfback. It's two halfbacks. Like SJ's playing that role at the moment, and Tamati's playing another role, which is more like a little bit of the clean-up, isn't he? A little bit of playing balls, a little bit of since he's been a fullback, he knows what to do. As you said in the line, you could see he knew what to do, cleaning ball up, So, but I think it has to be Volkman. I think that's the plan. He's everyone keeps talking about Webby. He's got like a list. He's got a position, and he's got his best player, and the second best player, and his third best player, and of course, and it's that next man interchangeable, right?
The depth chart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next man up. He's got his fridge laid out with magnets. Just.
But in saying that, Dills Walker played a little bit of 6 today.
Yep.
And in the press conference, it was funny as man. He was like, because they said to him, "Oh, you played in the middle, you played hooker, you played a bit of stand up at the end," and he was like, "Yeah, I love the stand up at the end, less work." It was crack up. So maybe he could step into that role as well. But options headaches. Let's see
that's good.
who pulls up.
But I mean, I will think positively. That was just kind of worst case scenario. I think I'd like to think that our boys, Tohu and Te Maire will be all right. Suspensions, we're looking okay, I think, right? Like we didn't spot anything untoward.
Nothing on report. No. We were good boys today. Yeah.
Moneta, welcome back. What do you think? What will be our keys to going over to Cronulla and hooking us a big old sharky?
I guess, again, it probably goes back to the same things we probably mention every kind of thing they need to improve. It was the first 20 minutes. So let's try rub out some of those needless penalties and, just get off to a strong start because I think we've got the whole resilience thing nailed down from the last 4 games we've seen. But if we can somehow just make sure the first 20 minutes are, all good, then I think they'll be focusing on that. I mean, they have to kind of because it's been happening for the last 4 games. So, yeah.
Yeah, fair, bro, fair. Isaac, what are the key threats we're going to need to look out for against the Sharkies?
Obviously, Grease Lightning, Nico Hines, especially after last year's debacle, he would probably have a big target on his back. He's the general of that team, like that. Braden Trindle has been filling in admirably for him, and I quite like Tricky Trindle. He's quite a good player. He's definitely a talent, but Nico Hines, like he can make something out of nothing at any time and any place on the field. So they've got to watch out for that and just control their back 5 as well. I think their back 5 are quite threatening, and they've been a bit of a handful for us in the past. Katoa. Who's the other one?
Ronaldo
Mulitalo, thank you. Will Kennedy's a threat with his speed. They've got to get a handle on that back line, basically, and not let Nico dictate terms because he looks like the kind of guy who's got all the time in the world. They need to cut that time in half, basically, to be in with a chance. Otherwise, he's just going to run roughshod on us. But we're resilient. We should be able to bounce back if he does get on top.
That's right. Brilliance and resilience. Buddha, are we going to go over there and potentially start the season 4-1?
Ooh.
We can. We can.
can.
I mean, we've got a lot more confidence going into this as well. I think we can beat them up the middle. If that sounds bad. I think they've got a big forward pack. Like definitely got some big boppers. But I think if we can get a roll on and move them around like we did with the Cowboys, that's where they, those teams can come unstuck. So I'm hoping, that's what we can do. And if we've got all our troops back, most of those troops back as well, that will play a big part. So we can definitely get over there. The Sharks are like a momentum team, eh? They can really put them on you, and obviously we saw that last year. We didn't talk about last year; that was fucked up.
You keep bringing up last year.
We agreed it was the worst. But I think we can. They just have quality out wide as well. That scares me a little bit, and also their edge forwards run the best lines in the game, I reckon. So we've just got to be mindful about that, but we can handle it.
Would that be Britton Nikora versus Jackson Ford potentially on one of those edges?
Yeah.
That'd be a
Yeah.
decent matchup.
And
about it.
Teague Wilton on the other edge against Niokore. So they got two really good hole runners in Teague Wilton and Britton Nikora. But maybe SJ will give us a little bit of inside knowledge on the way he plays, because SJ was had a very good combination with Nikora in his time there.
That's true.
So he'll know a bit about it.
Just related to the Sharks, but not probably related to this game, because obviously Metcalf's unavailable as well. But what's your thoughts on carrying Metcalf on the bench when we get everyone back as well? So you think about our forward pack. If we have AFB, Egan, Barnett, we have Ford, Niokore, Tohu. Do we need Bunty and Ale together? Can we sacrifice one of them
For
as
a bit
well
of speed.
for the speed? Because I think in the late
Game-breaking speed.
because we don't have that game-breaking X factor, do we? I mean, SJ's been really good, but they were gassed too, and rightly so. Both teams were in the grind, but it fears me. I get a little bit scared because then maybe we're one middle, one forward short. But when you've got Nia Cordo can play in the middle, right, and that's what he does too. You've got Jazz and Dills who've got energy to burn. So obviously it's redundant conversation because Metcalf's not available, but or maybe Tuopiki, I don't know, maybe do a gamble.
I like that. Yeah.
I see where you're going with that, because watching us against the Bulldogs, both teams are kind of similar. They just kind of have a move to the edge, boom, get shut down. Go the other way, boom, get shut down. And that was both ends of the field. And really, other than like the Fox running off for one sort of streaky try, other than that, there wasn't really a lot in it, And especially from our perspective, it's like, I'd be keen to see a little bit more strike on the field, but tricky.
Depends on the game. So like the first game we played this year, Everett had our full complement of players pretty much, and Bunty got used, or Ale and Bunty only got used for 10, 12 minutes each. So you'd think 2-1, they weren't on the field at the same time.
Yep.
But that everything kind of went to plan. There wasn't anything. But then you throw the Roosters game where we lost Jackson Ford, we lost Niokore for a bit, then we lost Chance, but then we can enact the other player. So you kind of have to have it that bad because then you can bring the 18th man in. So, I don't know. Maybe at some stage we'll gamble on that, but I don't know.
I reckon it's a good gamble. You replace Ciro with Luke Metcalf. He can cover any position on the back line, really. Because in the forward makeup doesn't really matter too much as long as you've got Jazz and Dylan Walker on the bench. You could put Bunty Afoa, you could put Tom Ale in that other spot, because the way that they're playing anyway, their back five is doing so much work that the forwards don't have to do too much, and then the likes of Tavanga and Walker can just do their thing in that middle third of the field position. Like, when we're going back close to our line, it's not like we're having to rely on the smaller middle forwards like Jazz and Dylan Walker to get us out of trouble. We just go, here you go, big back three, do your thing, and they're taking care of us, It's the exact game plan that you talked about Penrith having. They just let their big back five do all the work. Their forwards can wait around the middle of the field until they catch up to them, and then they can take the ball on. So I think the makeup of the bench being one prop short doesn't really matter. So we can have that space for a game breaker like Metcalf to come in 10 minutes before halftime, just take a dash from dummy half or something like that, just game-breaking speed. I'd like to see more of that, because that's the one thing I think the Warriors are missing at the moment, is just that X factor.
Yeah, fair. And to think how good, we could be if we add a bit of extra strike and start better. Jeez. How good will things be then? Anyways, I think we probably need to jump on out of here. Is that right, Moneta? Yes. We'll bounce out on out of here. My name is Jared Cronin. On behalf of the boys, Moneta Sauce, Isaac Sauce, and Daniel Whaaaat, we're going to catch you next week. We're going to go shark hunting.
We're going to win.
Hopefully that goes well. We're going to win! Go!
Your arms look real short, but what?